Hey guys, I'm Ryan, and on this episode of Baking with Ryan, I'm making a zebra cake. The inside of this cake has an amazing zebra pattern. I decorated the outside with an all-black drip, and I even added some black sprinkles. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. The ingredients you'll need to make the cake are vanilla buttercream, heavy whipping cream, chocolate chips, black food coloring, and black sprinkles. For the layers, I'm using 3 6-inch zebra cakes. Here's how I made them. First, divide up the cake batter in half. One half I'm going to dye black. Now, color half of the batter using black food coloring. This might take a lot of food coloring. I ended up using almost the entire bottle, but you really don't have to. The effect will still be just as good with a little bit less food coloring. After that, grease the pans with vegetable oil spray. Cover the entire pan and take a paper towel and spread out the oil. The final step before adding in the batter is placing a 6-inch parchment circle on the bottom of the pan. Begin by scooping a spoonful of batter in the center of the pan. Then scoop in another spoonful of batter of the opposite color in the center. After that, repeat the process until you've filled up all 3 pans 2/3 full. Be sure that each spoonful of batter doesn't cover up the last. Once all 3 pans are filled with batter, place them in the oven for 40 minutes to bake. These cakes are baking at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. When the cakes are done, they should look like this. Now it's time to level the cake layers. I like to do this using a cake leveler, but you could also use a serrated knife. As you can see, there's an awesome zebra design inside. To begin assembling the cake, spread some white frosting on top of a cake board which is sitting above a cake turntable. Then, place down the first zebra cake. Now, use an ice cream scoop to measure out the same amount of frosting to go between each layer. For this cake, I'm using 2 scoops between each layer. Then, take an offset spatula and spread out the frosting into a thin layer. After that, place on the second layer and repeat the process. Now place on the third and final layer of cake upside down. What this will do is ensure that your cake has perfectly sharp edges. It's time to crumb coat the cake. Begin by piling on a ton of vanilla buttercream on top. Then take a large offset spatula and spread out the buttercream until it covers the entire cake. Start by covering the top and work your way down the sides. After the cake is completely covered in frosting, use a bench scraper to get it perfectly smooth. Then take an offset spatula and smooth out the overflow frosting. In the meantime, let's make the chocolate ganache. Begin by adding the chocolate chips into a small bowl. Then microwave the heavy cream in a microwave-safe dish for 1 minute. After that, pour the heavy cream over the chocolate chips and stir it together with a spoon. Once it's completely mixed, transfer the ganache into a squeeze bottle. Place on the cap and set the ganache aside. Now apply the second coat of buttercream. Just like before, begin by piling on buttercream on top of the cake. After that, spread out the buttercream to cover the top of the cake. But don't spread the buttercream going down the sides just yet. For this cake, I'm using cake-safe acrylic discs to get a perfectly smooth finish, but another way to do this is just to do a second crumb coat on top. Either way, your cake will come out looking just like this. The next step is to cover the cake in black sprinkles. Begin by placing the entire cake on top of a cookie sheet and then start applying the sprinkles. You can go as low or as high as you want with the sprinkles. The next step is adding the drips going down the cake. I made a last-minute decision of adding black food coloring to the chocolate ganache. To make the drips, begin by holding a squeeze bottle at the top edge of the cake. Then begin to apply pressure. The more pressure you apply, the farther down the drip will go. Next, fill in the top of the cake with more chocolate ganache. Then once again, spread it out with an offset spatula. In a piping bag fitted with an open star tip, begin making buttercream dollops. For a finishing touch, add some black sprinkles on top of the dollops. And the cake is finally complete. All that's left now is to cut into it and reveal the zebra design. And for the big reveal, here's what the inside of the cake looks like. The best thing about this cake is that it was super easy to make and anyone can recreate it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my new videos.